7 on FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today, usual crew, plus Ollie. James Dean Rader is here. He's got his Lopers gear on. No Tiger gear for Ben Funky Askren today. And we've got Oliver Stone. We have plenty to get to. But let's check in with Ben first. Let's be kind to our guests.
I need you to have an official team, Christian, so when your team sucks, that I can then rub it in.
Okay.
Can you just denote an official team for you? Is it Virginia Tech? Because we did beat them.
You did. You know what? I'm every team. They're all my favorites. I'm like Rob Lowe. I root for like the league. I root for the major leagues and the NFL.
That's weird.
No, I don't really. Honestly, I had more allegiances when I started this job, and they've totally, almost completely faded away to oblivion. To where I really, then you just like people, or like a coach.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I feel about high school wrestling in Wisconsin. It's like I just cheer for the AWA kids. I don't really have a preference of the high school I went to or whomever. It's just like I don't really care who wins. I just want guys to do well.
I just hope both teams have fun. That's all. That
Represent themselves well.
Oliver Stone.
Yes, sir.
It's good to have you back. How are you? Last week, Ollie, we had this big thing. We roll out Ollie. We're like, he's going to be a cornerstone of this show moving forward. Okay. And then big presentation guy all of a sudden.
I had a big presentation, guys. I have a whole other job here at Flow, and it takes a lot of work, and I like to stay focused and do good jobs. And plus, I had a very big presentation. I was nervous. You look curious on how it went, Ben. It went very well, but I was nervous, and I sweated through my sweatshirt and had pit stains during it. But that's okay, because it was actually all about the information that was on the screen. And it went well. Thank you, guys. Right. And sorry for being gone. I'm back. I missed y'all. And I didn't know the cornerstone stuff. You failed to talk about that with me, but I'm here.
We're glad to have you here. So, okay, a few things I'll talk about what we're going to talk about. Which one? We're going to talk about the officiating, these calls. Oh my goodness, what's happening? We're going to talk about the Iowa-Michigan duel, the Missouri-Oklahoma State duel, Penn State-Ohio State. I feel like we saw three of the best teams have pretty down performances. And so we'll get into that. But first, the topic of the weekend that seemed to not just confuse fans and media, but coaches, were these takedown calls. You've got Scott Goodale's tweeting about it. Roger Reyna's tweeting about it. Everyone's confused. I've got coaches texting me and being like, you guys need to do like, we can't do anything, but you guys need to talk about this, raise the issue even more. They've got to get it fixed. Yeah. Ben, I want your thoughts, your perspective. What are you seeing? What were you thinking as you were watching all this action?
Well, I would say the most egregious thing about it all is that they get to review their own calls. And I was actually thinking, if they don't change any of their own calls, they should just get fired or something. Like there should be a stat tracker on how many of their own calls they don't change, because some of them were obvious. And it's like in the moment, you're like, oh, I understand how they can miss it. Things happen fast. Yeah. But then you get to go back and watch it as many times as possible, and you still miss it. That's a problem.
So there's a few sequences I want to look at. Let's first we can look at the Penn State Ohio State sequence that was kind of jump started this conversation with Vinny Kilcarry. Which what a surprise to see Vinny Kilcarry in this match. But seriously, it looked like it was a really smart decision by Coach Ryan to use him. He had beaten him at the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic, and hey, use the guy you got. But ultimately, they lost the match.
It's 25 is wild though, Christian, because I was like, oh man, it's Kilcarry like maybe won a few open tournaments, and I hadn't really seen him much this year. He had 23 matches already. He has 16-7, some solid wins, but some not so great losses. Kind of like a decent freshman resume. But then, he almost goes, well, in my opinion, he did beat the number 3 guy in the country. So just adding to the craziness of 125.
Yeah, so we can pull in some of that footage, the Penn State, Ohio State sequence with Braden Davis and Vinny Kilcarry. But what did you see here in this, Ben? Did you think it was this is the Michigan State, Indiana one.
I thought
this one.
There we go. I thought this was an obvious takedown. All right, so he throws him. They're in a battle. Nothing. This is a weird how they do this. But then, okay, right about here, he pops up. That's 2. And then he's on his back.
Yeah.
And if you're getting swipes, then you don't get to have danger, right? So he'd already given up a takedown. So it's not like he now gets to restart the danger. Like for a good second there, as Braden Davis bails and turns forward, that's a takedown right there. Takedown.
Yeah.
Still takedown. Still takedown.
What's interesting about the sequence is obviously the explanation that would be given from the official is reaction time, because obviously when he's when Braden's belly's towards the mat and when he's on his back, that would be a takedown criteria. But I think, and honestly, maybe as an aside, the broader point seems to be you just need to, if you keep moving and keep hustling, which Braden Davis for sure did, that's going to buy you.
That's just a good idea in general, Christian. That's just a good idea, period. Yes.
It is a good idea in general, and it's just a good idea in nature. But now it seems to be being really rewarded. You keep moving and just don't be, still. They're gonna. It puts a seed of doubt in the official's mind. But what I can't get around is Braden is taken down, I feel, when his belly's pointed towards the mat, and then in order to create a reaction time sequence, he goes to another takedown sequence. So you can't go from one takedown, criteria to another in an attempt to preserve some reaction time, and that to me just doesn't make sense.
And you know what I was thinking, and maybe this is not clear. I was thinking, I don't know the clear definition of it, but when someone is supposed to get a danger count, because it's like, in the next video we're going to show the Penn Harvard one, which I actually think is worse.
I do
think
too.
It's worse.
Yeah. I think it's
so
worse.
bad. But like, are they counting danger swipes on him? But no, you could just get put on your back. It doesn't all have to be danger. Like if you can put it on your back, you can put it on your back.
Yeah, so we can pull in the Penn Harvard clip, CJ Composto against Jaffe. And Composto goes double overs, throws the guy straight to his back, holds him there for, you could say, at least 2 seconds. It looked like 3. At least. And they
Probably
give
more.
the takedown initially. They review their own call and wipe it. And this to me is like,
they chose to review their own call, Christian.
They're like, you know what? Let's wipe this one. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. We can play that one. It's Penn.
Yeah, play that one. That one was like, what am I watching right now? Is this really happening?
Here it is. So Composto's, he's on the edge. He's got double overs. Boom, throws him straight to his back. And he's there. And now Jaffe is fighting off his back, and he eventually clears off his back and breaks free. So it should be a takedown. Probably.
That's takedown and near fall to me, guys. That's takedown and near fall. There's not even a question.
And then watch him back straight out of bounds here, too. And they don't call this. Look, stand straight up, shot off him at back straight out. No call there. Like, there's so many pin points and sequences.
Wait, hold on. Was Roger Reyna throwing the brick for a near fall there?
I think so.
I think that's what the Mark.
Because at the end, you can see Green's brick is on the mat. Watch at the end of the sequence. If we can kind of skip through it kind of quick. When they stop it, you'll see Roger Reyna's brick is on the mat.
Yeah.
So he threw the brick because he wanted near fall.
And so maybe they didn't review their own call.
Mark Hall, that's actually what he
said.
said.
Watch when the camera comes up, the brick will now be on the mat. The brick is on the mat now.
The officials could have said, we're going to review this.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, they could have.
Mark Hall said call on the mat was 3 takedown, reviewed on an iPad, and then reversed. We were under the assumption that it was being reviewed for some near fall.
Yeah.
Which it should have been.
Shots fired at iPads.
I mean,
maybe he's a Microsoft Surface man.
There's probably better ways to be reviewing a call, I guess, but
if you can see it, you can see it. Whatever.
That's what they
you know what? Good
NFL.
Point. Yeah, they used to just go to those little booth, little windows. So good point. I stand corrected.
I'm okay.
I actually
with the
like.
iPad.
You know what I like watching matches with? If they send on like an iPhone. The iPhone has that feature where you can use your thumb to like really slowly swipe across what's happening. That feature is great. So I'm assuming they have the same feature on an iPad. It could make it really easy to watch and see things, especially like locked hands calls, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. So
shout out iPads.
Hey, is the volume okay? I see Uncle Hefe says, why can they not get the volume right? I hope you guys hear us okay. We're doing our best, if not. So next.
You guys sound great to me.
All right, well that's good, but ultimately not
All
important.
right, back to the Braden Davis thing though. I mean, I think it's such a clear takedown. If you give up a takedown, you can't then roll back in and say, well, now I get a danger count or something. I really can't understand. I can understand in the moment how he maybe would have missed it.
Yeah.
And then, because if you wait 3 seconds, then there is kind of a scramble happening after 3 seconds. And you could say, well, there's no control now. And that would be true. But there was control for 2 or 3 seconds. So when you go back and watch it, you should see, oh, this is obvious.
Yeah.
It's takedown.
Now, compare those two sequences you just watched with this Michigan State Indiana clip, which decided the duel. This takedown occurs with less than a second left. We can pull that one in as well. That's what shows to me there's just rampant inconsistency with how takedowns and reaction time are being interpreted by each individual ref. And so they're going to go to the here they got
towards the end.
They got it pulled in. So you see that, I mean, shout out to Fungaro for not quitting, because this looked over and he hits a little pass by right as time expires.
I don't know. That time might have been out. It really might have been.
So what it was, you can't see the tents, but apparently there were tents on there, and the takedown was given with like 0.5 or something.
Freeze.
Boom, right there.
Oh, crazy.
Very crazy.
But there should be a takedown. I mean, it definitely looks like the time is out. But if there is, in fact, time on the clock and you can see that, then that's for sure a takedown.
I agree. He's conceded that position. So maybe those positions are all completely different and all these calls were right. I know.
No, don't concede. Do not concede, Christian Piles. Stand your
Stand
ground.
up for yourself.
I'm not. I'm obviously
Stand
not.
up for yourself.
And it has been acknowledged basically that, hey, the takedown in the Penn State-Ohio State match was wrong. I do think they're going to my prediction is that they're going to take steps to sort of correct what's happening. I think any other
Steps by NCAA's time,
I think there's a process that exists for, hey, sending out memos and figuring it out, and I think it's gonna happen. I think they're gonna say, hey, this is
so, but there already isn't reaction time. I'm sorry, there already is reaction time, and it has not changed. There's nothing different.
Yeah.
But you actually posted, unfortunately, the date and fix sequence with Josh Edmond. That's something that would have last year under instantaneous possibly been a takedown, which is like, that should not have been a takedown. That's dumb, and that's the type of stuff that reaction time is for.
Right.
So it's not instantaneous, because that is just in wrestling. It just doesn't, having instantaneous doesn't work. So, that's kind of what reaction time is for. Like the Braden Davis thing was well past reaction time, as was the dude being on his back.
And I don't know if my tweet caused confusion, but the Dayton fix defense against Edmond, I think, is exactly why we do and should have reaction time. Like, he got to maybe a position where if you snapped a photograph, you'd say, does this look like a takedown?
Hand down.
You'd say, hand down. But it's so instantaneous, and he's immediately rolling under and countering.
Correct.
That's why we have reaction time. Not so you can be taken down, roll to your back, and then time runs out. Not so that you can be thrown to your back, and because you're fighting off your back, it's not a takedown. It's for the Dayton fix types of incredible defense. That's why I like reaction time until it starts nullifying good takedowns, in which case I'm like, do you scrap it all? Because it's such a nebulous thing.
Yeah, I was going to say something very similar, and then you just said that. But all this kind of reminds me of in the NFL when there was like at least the season span when they couldn't decide on what a catch was. And there was like the Des Bryant situation and then the
Calvin Johnson.
All of those crazy catches, and they somehow fixed it. So it gives me hope for this situation.
I have hope. There's a lot of good. That's like one of the Penn State Ohio State guy. He's like one of the top regarded refs in the Big Ten. So it's not like he doesn't know ball. He knows what's going on. Just, and I think they have I think they'll get it right. And ultimately, what we just want to see is the calls be right at NCAAs, right? Conferences, right. NCAAs.
Well,
that's what.
No,
that's the
I don't
thing.
agree. I want it to be right all the time.
Yeah, ultimately. Well, right now we're left with nothing but concessions, because we can't say all the time, because all the time it's already happened. There've already been wrong winners, wrong losers because of bad calls. So
Hey, that Noah Certain call was a bad one too on the near fall. Like I thought that's a flow product, so we could probably pull that one up and watch it.
I didn't send that. One
Just
in.
another case where the referee refuses to change his own call. There was one time when a referee changed his call yesterday, because I remember I was scrolling through Twitter and I said call reviewed, and it actually said call reversed. I was like, oh my god, a call actually got reversed, because when you think about how many get reversed, it's a very, very
Well, they reversed it
small
in the
number.
Harvard Penn.
Yeah, they
Match.
reversed it.
Oh, they reversed it the wrong way. What are they doing?
Careful what you wish
What
for.
are they doing?
They reversed it in the Indiana Michigan State one. There was no call. There was no takedown on the mat, and then he looked at it
Oh, really?
and gave the takedown. Yeah. So that was
well, I stand corrected then.
yeah.
Now I'm seeing some people in the chat bring up the independent or third-party review. Is that something that would improve the process? Is that going on? What's going on with the reviews?
Here's my idea. I don't think it cannot be that crazy in the year 2024 that you have. All right, so obviously you can't send 3 refs to every duel. That is not possible.
Yes.
But why can't you have 3 or 4 officials on standby, almost like how the NFL goes to New York? Can't we send
Yes.
this match footage to a centralized place, and they can just sit there and look at it and be like, no, yes. There has to be not a technological
think, right?
impediment to that.
Well, it is a bit of a tricky
And honestly-
situation with that many duels or matches or tournaments that could be going on at the same time.
That's why you need several. But you know,
You would need several.
how
for
many
sure.
how many duels do you think at most are ever happening at the same time?
And,
20,
well, and
30?
also, yeah, probably put that referee on a timer. You got 60 seconds to decide this. You can rewind it, and maybe they even have to be currently watch it, have on some devices a handful of things and pay them, and then they can just go back to that wherever the thing is. Because say the Noah Certain, for example, I had it on my phone and I went back and I 10-second rewind, watch it again, 10-second rewind, watch it again. It's pretty damn quick to be able to watch things over and over again. So I like that, Christian. The problem with that, and I think it can be solved for, but sometimes at freestyle tournaments, for example, they will have, I think it's one referee for these 6 mats or whatever, and then all of a sudden 3 calls happen at once, and then the third one, the last one, is waiting freaking forever because the referee's got to go through the first call and the second call and the third call.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a scenario where you have 1 per 2 or something to that effect.
That's my thought. Yeah.
The other issue with
Yeah.
that is sometimes with these streams, and if the officials at this home base only had the TV streams, the stream clock is not completely synced up with the match clock. So if it's a did time run out
That's correct.
situation, you might not be able, like Michigan State, Indiana, you don't get to see tenths of a second, or it could be completely off by a second or 2, and you don't get to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Multiple camera angles too would be nice, but now we're getting spoiled, right? To have so many different camera angles
Right.
to look at.
So
the
anyway,
situation that's happening.
not discussing officiating is kind of, I won't say it's a cornerstone of FRL, but it's something that happens kind of frequently. But
I feel like it happens in every sport, though, right?
Yeah.
I don't watch other sports, but I feel like it.
You feel correctly. I mean, how many people were talking about the Sean Strickland Duplessis scoring?
Oh, that's the judges. That is the word. The
Well, yeah.
judges in MMA are worse than any referees in any sport.
Yeah, don't get Ben going in
And
this
for-
room.
So for some reason, there's just not I don't know why. This would be so simple, Christian. And it makes me think that Dana White actually likes the volatility and variability of the judges' scorecards. But you could have, say, 10 people you trust score the card, right? And then if you have one referee or one judge who's constantly dissenting, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Boot 'em.
You're out.
Yeah.
You don't get to go anymore. You don't get picked anymore. And I know you'd argue with me that the Nevada State Athletic Commission picks the judges, but come on,
Yeah.
man.
I don't. Yeah. So anyway, it is something that happens in every sport for sure. But
Yes.
yeah, so we wanted to talk about that. I didn't want to lead the show with it, but it felt like this was a special circumstance. But
Before we
But
go on,
at the NCAA tournament, there is in fact independent referees in the
Yes.
booths, correct?
correct,
So that'll help.
Oliver.
is there a fix to this?
So the reaction time. I don't know. I don't know if you're ever there's not a fix in terms of we got it right now. We figured out. Bless you, Benjamin.
Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know if there's like a way to get it consistent across the board. If Ben Askren was writing the reaction time rule book and you were teaching officials, what would you say?
Well, so this is where I don't think you can't do instantaneous. That's just dumb. It's not good at all. And so therefore there has to be some level of reaction time, right? And so then you can't make a rule because what are you gonna say, 0.5 seconds, and then how are they actually gonna time 0.5
Timing,
seconds? You
yeah.
can't actually time that, right? So when
We have a
control
count
is
for everything
secured,
else.
but yeah, and that might be part of. I mean, honestly, I was thinking in some of these
problem.
situations, like, you know, you got to think like, what are people trained to do? And so now they're being trained when a back is exposed to do a danger count. Like that could cause hesitation or struggle with what should be happening. You know, like you get wires crossed there because, is this a situation where I should be counting neutral danger or not? Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying or no?
Yeah,
Like,
I do.
It adds an element to it. So I don't think there's any hard and fast rule. It's when control is established, and then that is kind of gray area. But you know, if you were to watch a takedown like either one of the two that we picked today, I think if you put a poll up and said, "Is this a takedown?" you'd be in the high 90% of that is a takedown. And when a ref doesn't get that, that's a problem.
What is happening more? Takedowns are being given that aren't takedowns, or takedowns that are real are not being awarded?
Takedowns are real.
I feel like it's that one. I feel like
Yeah,
there's
probably
real
that one.
takedowns that are not being awarded, and that the
Or are those just sticking out to us right now?
no. I mean, no. I mean, that's just my opinion. My opinion is that that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I don't. And
feel
I don't
like
think it
there's
should be
been
that.
too many this year.
I think you should be
Where's-
erring the other way, personally.
You're saying too fast, not too slow.
I'm saying more. I'm saying they're requiring a burden from the offensive wrestlers that is really too hard and too nebulous to clear sometimes, and that they should be a little more apt to giving the takedown. They're in a position of control for a period of time. Give the takedown, and then let it sort out. But I think you want to err on the side of offense and the attacker, not. Well, it's not clear. It's not this. It's not that. And
Not to get on my high horse or make people offended, but my wife says I have the tendency to do that sometimes. So, so let's go. I know some of these referees, they do it a lot, and some of them are very good. But it feels to me, and obviously that like the NCAA referees are better than any other level, in my opinion. But it's still like they just need to have this extra depth of knowledge of these scramble situations, so you know exactly what's happening, exactly who's in control, what the next move is going to happen. That way you can be kind of predictive in. You're like, okay, this is what's going to happen. And you kind of like see where the action is flowing to and flowing from, and you understand better who has control. This is probably even more important in freestyle wrestling, but it still is very helpful when you're refereeing a folk style wrestling match.
yeah, I think there's a deep level of knowledge outside of the rules that really can help you. Like you can know the rules, but you've got to. Yeah, I agree with you totally. I think.
Well, especially with some of these new scrambles, because I mean, really, they started in my era. And they've gained popularity where you're seeing them a lot.
Yeah.
And I still feel like there's a few referees who, in these scramble situations, they're kind of they don't have a real depth of knowledge in those situations to understand what exactly is happening.
Yeah. All right, let's talk Penn State, Ohio State. We already talked about
Let's do it.
125. Braden Davis avoids the curse of 125. This kid is powerful. He has been able to ward off something that every other 125 has suffered, which is defeat. He's still undefeated for the season.
On the books.
On the books. That's all that matters. And so shout out to him for being super consistent and hustling at the end of that match. But 33,
Hustle.
this was as shocking as the 125 no
Oh
call.
my God, so shocking.
Nick Bouzakis picks apart Aaron Nagao. Now it's a 12-10 final, but what were your thoughts on this, Ben? As a documented Bouzakis detractor.
No, I gave him compliments on bottom in that Ragusan match, and I almost picked him because of he must be so powerful. Do you see the way he sits these legs when they're in?
Yes.
He did it to Nagao also. It's so ridiculous
He's a
how much power he
powerhouse.
can generate.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. So I literally almost picked him for that reason because I thought Nagao's not going to be able to get the leg ride going. But I did not see him shooting and scoring on Aaron Nagao a whole bunch of times. And then, he has a regression to meet on Sunday and he loses to Dylan Chauver. So, and, maybe you brought up, someone else said to me, maybe Nagao is just not quite as good as he performed at the end of last season. And I think that is probably the most likely thing to be true.
Right. And
Yeah.
or
you could say Ohio State as a whole Sunday hangover match can't count it against Rutgers.
yeah. And Ollie, what you
Well,
missed
they
is,
actually wrestled well.
yeah, not against Rutgers. You think they wrestled well against
Yeah,
Rutgers?
they did. Feldman got an upset win. Giog got an upset win. Macron got an upset win.
Yeah, that's true.
That's 3 upset wins right there.
So those guys fought through the hangover. That doesn't mean the other guys weren't feeling it
Yeah.
a little bit.
That's
Yeah.
all. Who got the hangover?
You don't even know about hangovers,
You
Ben,
know,
Mr.
Dylan-
No drinking.
Dylan D'Amelio lost to Michael Sarah.
Oh, I did see that one. All right, so we got 2. We got 3
No,
on
there's
the
one
good,
other.
2 on the bad.
Rogotsky.
Rogotsky got pinned by Soldano, which is
Oh, like that is not.
No, that's
something
hangover.
supposed to
That's
happen.
hangover. That's hangover.
No, that is not. You stop it right now. That is not a hangover. That is like, hey, who's going to get pinned, Rogotsky or Soldano? Let's flip a coin. Oh, shoot, heads today. I guess it's Rogotsky.
yeah.
You know what, Ben?
Are you
I
guys
let
kidding me on that one?
I let you be the expert on wrestling and MMA and all that stuff. You let me be the hangover expert, okay? Hangover.
yeah.
Soldano Rogotsky is about as insane as you can get, guys.
And it literally was. There were with like a minute and a half, with a minute and a half left in the second period. There had already been 3 reversals and a locked hands call, in addition to like other takedowns. Like they're just. I hope they wrestle at Big Tens because it'll be insane. Soldano can't help himself.
All-time junker match.
No,
He cannot. It's impulsive. Because before he pinned him, he like rolled across his back. Like I know you hear roll across your back. You think, oh, like
No.
He's just rolling across his back, like
All
pinning
the way.
himself. It
Yes.
looks horrible, but he somehow comes out. He is
not
inexplicable.
that much. Okay, listen, not as frequently as last year, Christian, because he's not having a good year, so he's not coming out as frequently as he did
Right.
the year prior. People are catching on. But Rogotsky's just as guilty. This man, how many times did he reach back on Truex before it actually worked?
Well, he didn't reach back this time. He got the
This from front headlock.
Rogotsky got
Yeah,
that
you're right.
over under.
Yeah, over under.
I
But
said-
in like off those early takedowns, he was like, reach back,
He loves
Reach
the
back.
lat whip.
reach back. Yes,
Against
so much.
he must be really, obviously he's good with that move, but he's got a weird strength there because Soldano was all the way behind and he kept a hold of him so tight for so long before they could even give the takedown. He must have
Really?
yes, if you go back and rewatch it, he holds it for a while to the point that Soldano can't circle behind and get the takedown for like
Well, he's probably
4
scared.
seconds.
I mean, Soldano's smart to not circle behind there. Actually, I got really mad at one of my high school kids because he was in that exact situation and he's like out to the side. But the second you circle behind, you take all your posts away,
Yeah.
right? So you kind of give it to him. So you actually can't. You're not supposed to circle behind there.
Okay. Well, you should watch.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think if you watch, you'd be like, Soldano should be able to clear, and he ultimately clears that position and circles into him. So I don't
Okay.
know. Just rewatch
So
it.
not a hangover match for Ohio State because they had too many positives to be a hangover match.
Spin zone, were they still drunk? Ollie?
Yeah, see? He doesn't even know about that. He doesn't even know about that nuance there of a hangover.
Yeah.
They won because they were still jazzed up from the night before, and then
Oh
a
my
couple
gosh.
hours later they started to feel that grogginess, the headache come in, the whole deal. Ben doesn't know.
Now the flight home, how are they feeling?
Depends if they got back after it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they probably slowed it down a little bit. So yeah, a wild weekend for Ohio State. Buzakis beats Nagao. That was a surprise. Bartlett,
Yes.
Mendez comes down to overtime.
Man, your boy Bartlett he just doesn't do much. He
did
really
enough.
doesn't. He does
Except win.
almost nothing.
Dubs. He's gonna be ranked number 1 tomorrow morning. By the way,
As he should be.
Yeah.
This is one thing. I gave this advice to my high school athletes the last 2 weeks in a row. Not on this position, but I'm gonna give this advice to Jesse Mendez. Shooting to the leg is not a win. Like that is not a win. Sometimes people think, I got to his leg, like that's like the start. But no, there's a decent chance it's actually a negative. And so when Mendez shot the same high crotch he shot in overtime, he shot prior, I think maybe in the second period, and he almost got scored on. Did not get scored on, escaped out of there. But that's when you should be kind of stubborn enough to say, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't shoot that shot, or not too stubborn and say I shouldn't shoot that shot again, because last time I shot that shot, I almost got in trouble, and there's a decent chance I may get in trouble again and maybe go to a different attack.
Yeah. So he gets countered and taken down there. That gets reviewed and called a takedown. I thought it looked like the right call. I thought he had broken 90 for the period of time. So yeah, Bo Bartlett gets it done. I mean, you see that match go to overtime, you're like, all right, Bo's probably winning this. And he does, in fact, win it. And then 49, Tyler Kasak, man, he is, two things. He does look really good. Dylan D'Amelio, like the puppy dog said, rough. It ain't great. I had a guy I worked with that used to say that at the hospital. He used to always say that. So,
what was his name?
Ivan.
Shout out Ivan.
Shout out Ivan Shantz.
Ivan?
Yeah, he was.
Buddy Ivan?
Dude, he was. This guy was wild. Awesome guy. Anyway, he used to say that, so I wanted to say it one time. But anyway.
Dylan D'Amelio actually was, I don't know if you realize this, he was in on a match where he takedown, but had the same thing happen as Jesse Mendez, got scored on off his own high crotch.
Yes.
So Ohio State could work that high crotch position, but if you do get around the corner, it's hard for the offensive man to start scoring that, and it's just way more likely that the defense scores.
So it's still limited sample size, Ben, but how good do you think Tyler is? How high do you think he can perform this year?
Man, he's pretty good. How high do I think he can go?
Ben's going to
He did have the close one over David Evans the previous week.
Teammate match can't count it.
Yeah, teammate matches don't count.
What? Why not? I didn't realize he actually had a tiebreaker against David Evans also. His
only loss is Bartlett.
His next best win is D'Amelio. Man, I got to see him against someone else. When's he going to wrestle someone real scrappy? Not Iowa. Iowa's guy is solid, not great.
Scrappy. I don't know who they're going to use.
I need a scrappy one.
Scrappy do. I'm saying All-American.
Yeah.
I think that's his ceiling this year.
I don't think he can contend
So he'll
for a
have
title.
So he'll have Iowa, then Mitch Moore, who's solid, and then Ridge Lovett.
Okay.
February 18.
Man, so he's going to win those two, and he's going to lose to Ridge, and we're going to be like, still don't know.
Still don't know.
That'll be my opinion. I think he's good enough to place for sure. I don't know if he can reach like top 4, but I think he's probably in the 5 through 8 realm. I think
That's kind of how I feel.
I think the top 3 are really good. So maybe he could get 4th. Because Ridge, Caleb, and
Gomez.
I can see him beating a Jackson Arrington. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they wrestled in high school at some point also, or Chance Lamer. But now Gomez, you guys have Gomez at 6. He's obviously going to move up a decent amount.
Yeah. Israel Thomas will not stop yelling until JD makes Austin Gomez number 1 for, as he acknowledged, no reason whatsoever.
Just vibes.
Just pure vibes.
Yeah, actually, when you look at like say 10 through 20, I could for sure see him being any of those. I mean, I would probably likely pick him being any of those guys.
Okay. Haynes wins. Mitchell gets kind of ridden a little bit here against Bryce.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, what do you have to say about that, Ben?
Well, Mitchell, so I couldn't see the referees. So obviously Mitchell chose down one of the periods, and then Hebner chose top one of the periods because he didn't want that smoke on his feet, I guess. But he did get it took a while, but he did get a reversal in the second, right? And then, like I said, I'm pretty sure the third period Hebner chose top. And Mitchell did get a reversal, but then got reversed back. And then, I mean, the end was kind of dumb because he got stuck in that like really untight cradle, but you just can't break the lock from there. And Hebner's like, I guess I just like losing by 6 points. I'm not going to try to turn this sucker over. And
no,
so
Hebner had the try for
30.
Yeah, he had it for like 20 seconds, and we were like, you just conceded. Like, you got to try.
You just conceded. You just sat there with a cradle. Like, are we even trying to win here?
At one point, Mitchell even like put his hand up, like,
Yeah.
"What are we doing?"
Mitchell's
was doing that.
demonstrative.
He's a demon.
Yeah.
You don't know what demonstrative means?
Sounds like he's a
Yeah, he's a
demon vibe.
That's what it means. I think he's an actual demon.
All right, so that I mean, obviously, I like him to get off bottom a little quicker. I mean, Hebner was just he is tough.
He's
on
good
top.
there.
He's good with some of those positions.
For all Ben's barbs,
I would have
you do
also liked to see
acknowledge-
Mitchell. And I'm sorry, what?
For all your barbs, you do. Yeah, you do need to acknowledge he is good on top.
He's scrappy on top. I would have liked to see Mitchell not ride as long in the first. That's kind of something, not just Mitchell, but kind of like a lot of my guys. I always feel like if you have a significant superiority in the neutral position, then try to use it as much to your advantage as possible in the first period. So like, unless you have, say, like the one he got a bar right off the takedown and almost ran it over. Like if you have that, sure, go for it, right? Or if you get a cradle off takedown, go for it. But if you're not getting like really positive situations, like don't spend a whole bunch of time on top, because I think he was on top for like a minute and something in the first period.
Yeah, I thought it looked like he'd be able to take him down almost at will.
Yes.
74. Rocco Welsh is the real deal. He's
tough.
He gave Starachi a fight. You know, he wasn't close to scoring, but 3-1. I mean, it looked like early 3-1. After one, you're like, all right, this could be. He could run it up, and then at some point the pendulum swung the other way, and Starachi was tired, and Rocco got a stall call.
Yes. So, two things here. Number one would be that, what happened. One of the things we said happened that would be really bad for Rocco Welsh happened. He got taken down relatively early, and he actually got off bottom pretty well. Carter's tough on top. Rocco had been ridden previously, and Rocco did a good job getting off bottom. I thought that was going to be a big problem for him, and he was able to solve for that. So I thought that was pretty impressive. And then my second thought is Gabe Arnold was talking trash on Carter Strachey. You guys hate this idea, but if Rocco Welch can go with Carter, I think Gabe can go with Carter. And if I'm the Hawkeyes, I'm putting him in at 174 this Friday.
I think I'm with your logic. I don't disagree with anything you said. I think Gabe can wrestle with Carter Strachey, but I think if we see him, it's going to be at 184. And I think that's a smarter move.
Because you think he could possibly beat Bernie Truex?
I think he can possibly beat Bernie Truex. I do not think Aiden Riggins can. I think
He definitely cannot.
now Griffith majored Kennedy, but I think there's a world where Kennedy can keep that to a decision. I mean, I don't know why Kennedy
I was disappointed in that one.
Well, he took bottom, so I didn't. That did not help. The match was over as soon as he took bottom. And got
Why do
immediately
they
turned.
do that? Why do they do that?
It's 2 weeks in a row, just giving Shane Griffith
Freaks.
gifts. And then
But why do people just auto bottom is so ridiculous, isn't it?
for a point. For a point, it's 1 point.
For a point. Talking about point here.
Analytics has not made its way into wrestling, it seems.
No, or I don't know if it's just like I don't know if it's that or it's just like, oh, we can get away, or it's you don't know how good Shane is there. I don't know.
That would kind of be okay. Shane's like in his 17th year. Everyone has to know how good he is there, right?
Not a lot of tape.
The verdict is still out.
Not a lot of things
Not
on
a
video
lot
these
of tape.
days. That would be such an easy metric to do, Ollie, to your point. Maybe you can start the analytics firm, but when people choose bottom on Shane Griffith or any wrestler, what is the point differential, right? Are they more likely to get an escape? Are they more likely to get ride timed? I don't know if that's a word. It could
Riding
be.
time?
Or near fall? Are they, what is it, right? Is it more like, because I would venture to guess that Shane Griffith is the most likely to get points when someone chooses bottom on him.
It would seem so. But regardless, I think Kennedy can wrestle a better match against Starachi than he did against Griffith and keep that to a decision. I think either way, you're looking at probably a decision at 74 for Penn State. Obviously, more is possible. But if you're looking at it from Iowa's point of view, all right, you have a couple more uses of Gabe. You should use him here. 74 doesn't make a ton of sense. Kennedy is a firm starter now. You've decided he's going to be your guy. So benching him for the true freshman doesn't make as much sense as Aiden Riggins, who is a long shot to qualify. And
yeah, but at the same time, it's
Gabe's
not
best
like
wins at
Kennedy's-
84.
Sure, but it's not like Kennedy's going to beat Carter. That's just, I don't want to say impossible, but it's kind of impossible, you know? So it's like, you don't need to give Kennedy another loss. Just leave his record where it is. Put Arnold in there because we all want to see it, and they really care about our opinions more than anything.
Well,
and if Carter Starocki got Carvered, that'd be a huge story.
I mean, no doubt about it. I don't think it's likely.
I think it's more likely they would give up bonus than at 74 and 84
Yeah.
if they used Gabe, or if they stayed put and didn't use Gabe at 84.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think
Okay.
I genuinely believe, Ben, the smarter decision is to use Gabe at 84 for this duel.
Probably.
For dual attacks.
You're probably right.
Okay.
There's a reason they did it against Iowa State.
Yeah. And I think they'll do it probably against him, and against Truex, and I think against Plot as well.
Man.
And
Looking
then
at
Gabe
Truex's record, I mean, Arnold's for sure going to keep it close. He's got a 2-point win over Malshewski, 3-point win over Bullock, 3-point win over James Rowley. Yeah, Arnold will definitely be able to keep it close, if not make it really competitive against Truex.
Yeah. Bounce back match for Truex potentially, and haven't seen Gabe since the salute, I want to say. So,
been a while, yeah.
notable. But I like the matchup for Gabe as far as 84s. I'm not saying he'll win, but I'm saying it's not Parker Kekheisen, right? It's not someone, or even like a Pinto. I think that'd be a tough matchup for him, but I like the matchup here for Gabe. But we'll see what they do. Probably won't know, but that's my guess.
We're going to get into it more on Thursday, but could be a rough duel for Iowa. It's going to be fun to break it down.
Oh my gosh.
Or interesting.
Could be.
Could Iowa get blanked?
It's a possibility.
That's the question.
Man, you know when we did that line last week on Iowa and Michigan, and it's so funny because my logic for picking Michigan was they always end up with some rando in the lineup. It just seems like every single time, and they end up with the kid at 84 who almost beat Aiden Riggins. I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
And then obviously the rest of the backup is 65 also, and they still got it done.
Yeah, they smoked.
Yeah.
So what do we think? Bad performance by Iowa, good performance by Michigan, combo.
Absolutely. Terrible performance from Iowa. That's my thought. But
Wait,
started
sorry, can we finish
125.
Ohio State?
25. Drake
Well,
Ayala.
it's my fault. We didn't finish Ohio State and Penn
We
State.
kinda got
It's
to
my
it.
fault. I'll take
Oh,
all.
well,
the
we
blame.
could talk about Luke Gia getting. I mean, we hit
No,
it.
I want to talk about Daniel.
Oh,
He
Daniel
did
Gregory?
exactly what we thought he would do. He shot from too far out, but he's so big and strong, he just goes right through him.
That's what I said in the.
It's crazy.
I did a recap video. I was like, Feldman actually had the right game plan and was trying to execute it. He's just totally outmatched by Greg. Like, you're not gonna be able to reattack this guy. I feel like. I'm glad Tyler's not here, but like, he could be the guy for Paris, Kirkfleet. It would not surprise me at all. if
Tyler
he-
Meisinger.
Yeah,
That's the match. Olympic trials.
yeah, I think so.
Yes.
I
Who
think
would you
Gre-
pick?
It's tough because I kept waiting for Greg to get it back last year, and he never did. Like, I'm pretty sure I picked him in the duel, and I might have picked him at I think I did pick him at Big Tens. And for whatever reason, I mean, Mason just got that much better and beat him 3 times last year. So it's tough for me to go back on, just like unsee that. And, you know, you could say it's folk style, but really not a big difference in how those guys wrestle. And Mason won the takedown game. So,
Yep.
and then he went and won a medal. And he wrestled Gable sort of tough in a match. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
So I'm with Mason, but
Well, and then
wouldn't
obviously, so
surprise
now
me.
he's got the medal, so he gets to sit out, right?
Yeah, he gets to sit out, and you've got guys like Gwiz isn't gone, and there's other guys, so
Yeah.
you know it'll be tough,
That's a huge advantage.
big time. So
Big time.
Greg, beast
But
mode.
hey, and then Feldman. How good this is to back up how good Greg is Feldman beat Big Slav on Sunday.
Yeah, but the good thing about Big Slav is not actually that big. I think that helps Feldman. I mean, Feldman and he look about the same size.
Yes.
Whereas against
correct.
Greg, it's like, they bumped up their 97-pounder. Greg's a beast. That's just a tough matchup for everyone. Okay. Permission to go to Iowa. Michigan.
I'm sorry. I wanted to talk about that Greg match and put a nail in the coffin there.
Yeah, nail is in the coffin. Good overall, good performance from Ohio State. Honestly,
especially if you give them 25.
They get 25, and then 41 and 74 were in the balance. Not sort of 74, sort of not.
Ish.
It was if you're within a takedown when the clock strikes
the
0.
The only match in that duel where they go away kind of thinking, darn, maybe we didn't perform like we should have, was 41.
49.
Okay, yeah, 49 too.
No, I disagree on 41.
Yeah, I thought they were.
But you're going into that match, you're thinking,
yeah.
If you're Ohio State, you're like,
okay,
Jesse's winning. Like from Ohio State's POV, you're like, Ohio State's winning this. You're like, yeah. Jesse should beat this guy. If you're from Ohio State and you go, we're going into overtime, that's where Bartlett likes to be, but you're still like, Jesse can go and get a takedown. You lose that one, you're like, darn. 49, obviously,
I don't
same
know.
thing, and you lose. But
do you think they have enough self-awareness to know that one was a coin flip?
Yeah, listen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You lost a coin flip.
Yeah.
Match, so you're like, darn, we want to win the coin flip. Every other match, you're like, good job, you did your job.
Yeah. Well, I would say the last week's pick winner saw this one right, and if you notice, Ben, I'm running you down.
Wasn't me.
It went from 7.
Dude,
he was up
I
7.
Sucked the last 2.
He was up 7. Now he's up 1. Only because
Dang, that bad. I didn't even look. This is how my life goes, Christian.
I did a gimmick pick with Lachlan McNeil. And he had a freaking cradle.
You do this all the time, Christian.
That was a gimmick.
You do this all the time. You can't let it go. You can't let things go. You just keep picking the same, like Greg and Mason. You just do it.
Okay.
So this week,
yourself.
This week I went 10-10. Ben went 7-13. Christian went 12-8.
We hate that.
Get ready. Momentum's a real thing in pick'ems.
Uncle Mo. Uncle Mo. No, it's coming. I can feel it.
It's crazy. I can't wait.
Shut up, Ollie.
I can't wait.
But wait.
Where would Seth Mendoza's plaque look nice? Like right over.
You're too fancy. They're not going to let you put it up.
Oh yeah,
this is my domain. I do what I want in my office. You guys got fancy designers. We probably got a room planner coming out. No,
first of all,
that's not going to look nice.
Ben talking about his domain. It looks like it's a closet with a TV put up in it. It doesn't look like much of an office.
It's my domain.
That's how he likes.
So this used to be. I don't know if you guys get. Oh man, I'm gonna mess something up here. This used to be an open room here, and then coronavirus happened, and my kids were home every day, and then I literally had to build a wall there so I could shut them out because they were home all the time.
I like how you have that nice ring light set up for it lights up your face very well. You look handsome.
Shows my good side here.
Yeah. You I mean, you say we have fancy designers, but Spade just brought a Daryl Strawberry 2-inch figurine in here, and
what's wrong with that? He's a Mets legend. What's wrong with that?
Who brought Hulk Hogan then? Who brought Hulk Hogan?
I think that was the grappling guys. Brought Hulk Hogan in. We're working on.
I'm gonna just put
Go ahead.
I'm gonna put 4 of my plaques up on that wall over there, that right behind Ollie, and they're just gonna be there forever then.
Yeah, bring some plaques.
Hey, this is our domain. We control what goes up.
Hey, bring one of your Hodge trophies in.
Yeah, bring one of your champion plaques or something. I won't steal it.
Yeah. Bring something. Hey, you should have a plaque of some kind that you don't really have that much of attachment to that you could donate to our thing. Oh, what? You don't have to get it now.
Go ahead, go get it now.
There he goes.
Yeah, get it now.
you plant a seed in
all
Ben's
it takes
head.
is one little.
That's
one
it.
Little
He's
seed.
like, you know what? Let me leave.
Impulse control is an issue with Ben.
It is. He's got a lot of pros, but then sometimes he just walks off the set, and it's fun. Here. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's got a whole bin.
He's got the Rubbermaid.
This is like the Kerry Collat film when he's going through and has his world medals in his attic or garage.
All right, he's gonna reassemble. He's putting the ear.
I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
I had a bin in my back room right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we could do what do you want from here, Ollie?
I don't know.
Wait, me personally or for the studio? Because that's
Oh my
hell
gosh.
yeah.
This is my only other college loss. I got second place to Cliff King.
I want that.
I like how you
I
got
want that. I want that
Balls,
one.
least amount of time. This is Central Missouri State Open.
Oh, I want that one.
Oh,
Can we
baby.
please have that one? That is. There's no way anything's gonna top
This
that.
is interesting me what you kept.
Scuffle champ.
Ooh,
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
Oh, this is best athlete for 2002 at my high school.
Wow.
It's like
That was debatable.
I got a
Rigged
whole thing
election.
here. Ooh, this is a box. What's in the box? I have no idea.
Uh-oh.
What's in the box?
Think it's something nice?
It's got Ben's pieces in there.
Oh, no, this is great. Second place amateur nationals disc golf.
He's so proud.
That's the one he's most proud of.
Yeah.
One.
Man, if you bring in the Central Missouri, after all the jokes we made about that Central Missouri State Open, it would be
Yeah, I'm bringing that one.
perfect.
Can I have your second place
This one,
trophy?
they actually
Wow.
printed the bracket. They
That's
printed
cool.
the bracket on this. This is actually cool. So look at this. This is what. This is why these good like Carter Siraki, Trayvon Hodge. He needs to be able to do this. Pin minute 26. Pin minute. Pin minute 48. Pin 2 minutes 40. Pin 1 minute. Like why can't they just do this? Just pin everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what I did at
What are you guys
the
doing
Battle
over
at the Beach High School Wrestling Tournament.
Pinned his way to third.
I won it 2 years running.
Back to back.
Yeah.
All
Beast-
right, that was fun.
That was
You
fun.
guys let Hall
Uh-oh.
of Fame, Wisconsin.
George Martin
You guys
Wrestling.
let- relive-
That was George
me-
Martin.
You guys are letting me relive my glory days. I feel so good about myself now.
They're pretty good days.
I really do want one of those plaques though for my house.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bring a couple, Ollie. We'll put a couple on the
Yeah,
shelf.
that's crazy.
He's gonna be here next week. How exciting!
Me
All
and
right.
Ben are best friends.
If we don't talk about Iowa and Michigan, I'm going to start throwing stuff. What's that?
That's
Oh.
it. That's for winning NCAAs. I
It's a
should
little-
maybe take that out of a box in the back room.
Yeah, maybe.
Nah.
Nah. No, it's going back in.
Winning Southern Scuffle, winning NCAAs, basically the same thing in Ben's book.
Yeah.
Oh, these are 2 second place NCAA trophies. These are dog shit. They stay in the box.
Ding. Cussing Ben Askren.
All right. Sorry. Put the cuss jar over on the bar.
Do you put little Bitcoin particles in there when you cuss? Because normally people put in like U.S. dollars, but can you put in like the particles, the vapors of
Particles.
the
They're
vapor?
called Satoshis.
I believe they're called vapors. Anyway,
All right. Iowa, Michigan. I'm sorry.
good job, Michigan. Iowa looked really bad, I thought, in quite a few weight classes. Let's start with 41 because that's the number one. match.
41. We got to start with 25. How did DiAgostino hold on to that in double overtime?
I don't know.
How?
That's like some jujitsu, like bottom side control. I don't know. I don't get it.
It was so crazy.
How could he not swim out?
The whole time. But Christian, it was from like 24 seconds down to 0. He somehow held on. I was like, IL's coming out at some point, and he just never came out.
Never did. It was weird.
That was weird.
Where is Drake Ayala's left-handed single leg is my question. I was surprised we haven't seen it. I feel like we didn't see it during the Ramos match. Didn't see it here. That's his shot. I don't know where it's at. So not a great performance there. We knew that was going to be a close match, though. Let's be honest. We knew that was going to be a tight one. 33, they're not going to be competitive at the highest level with whoever they use. Dylan,
Seems like Colin's the guy now.
See, I don't understand that. How did Teskey not win this spot outright at the salute?
But Teskey hasn't been that good this year. Am I right or wrong on this one?
Okay, yes, that is definitely true.
Okay.
But what's the pull up Cullen?
Teskey's 8-2 against Division I opponents, but he did get drilled by Jacob Van D and lost to Evan Frost pretty badly.
Yeah. But what
No good wins.
but Cullen? Well, he won the salute
Yeah.
that had Cullen
Yeah,
in it.
I
I don't listen, I don't know what maybe it's not the final decision. I don't know. But I'm surprised by it. I assumed after the salute that Teskey would probably be the guy moving forward. But maybe not.
Yeah.
Regardless,
they kind of are shifting him around too because like
using him at 41.
49 also. They're putting Vinovich back in.
Yep. I wondered if that was more strategic for the duel. Voinovic's going to keep it a little tighter. Ratchet's going to go after it, and that's you can get pinned against Austin Gomez. Voinovich is going to keep it tighter. That was my read. I don't know. No intel there.
Yeah.
But regardless, those two weights are not weights we're expecting many points at NCAAs for Iowa. 141, however, he's the consensus number one guy in America, and Sergio Limley took it to him. He reversed him to his back, then he cradled him. He was 100% pinned at the end. I don't know what was happening.
How did they not call a pin there?
How did they not?
It's almost like Iowa and Penn State get calls, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. But to me, this was more about real. Listen, Michigan fans can yell, but I think this was a little bit of more that. If you think I look like the real Woods we'd seen all last year and most of this year, I would just have to disagree with you. I thought he looked off. He had missed time previously, and one thing it's like if you got the Illinois Northwestern weekend, easy to sit out. Michigan, you're going to be more likely to bring him out there than sit him. If you think he can go, you use him because you know you need him, right? You need this guy. It's going to be a tight duel. We thought it was going to be tight. It ended up not being. But we thought it was going to be close, and maybe he wasn't ready. But I don't think that's the real we're going to see come Big Tens and NCAAs. But it is concerning because he never had a moment like this last year.
It is always.
He's at. Go ahead, JD.
It's always I don't know, insane or odd when we see a beatdown like that. That was kind of a beatdown, and we're like, yeah, but I might pick the other guy next match.
Yeah,
if they meet again.
Yeah, I'll for sure pick real until I see that it's a real pattern.
Well, I'm not saying I'm doing that.
It was just two sequences, right, guys? So there was the reversal from bottom. That was 6 points. Okay, and then the last sequence was 7 points.
But the fact that Real wasn't able to get a takedown and get on top.
One thing I'm noticing, I remember last year, this guy below the whistle, he's on your leg, he's taking you down, and he's tilting you it was like Spencer, but 41. I haven't seen that this year. He's not. I don't know if people are like, all right, let's weather the storm early because he doesn't have it in the same way late, but. I don't know. I've noticed that's a big difference too with Real.
Because Real wasn't really like that earlier in his career, right?
No.
Or am I wrong on that one?
No, and it was like you flipped a switch when he got to Iowa, and he's like, I'm getting on the leg right away. I'm going to get on top and start tilting these guys. And he did it basically all last year. And then this year, I feel like it hasn't been quite the same. He also needs to quit doing that darn key lock thing.
That is so bad. I hate it when guys do that. It's such like just a poor sport. I want to try to injure someone type thing, and we've really got on Barely Fernandez. But yeah, this is equally as bad.
Yeah, Richie Figs elbowed Spratley in the face.
That was so ridiculous. I don't know why didn't they DQ him? That was so flagrant.
Yeah, it was so obvious.
It was so bad.
Yo, Spratley's funny though. He's the classic little needler instigator thing. If you go back and watch both the Certain match and the Figs match, he did this thing with Figs where like he's kind of getting up and they're like walking back to center. He has like his face on his back as he's moving forward, just really like needling him, and he's already won the match. And then so he's just standing there and then he gets elbowed in the face. But then against Certain, if you watch, they're walking back to center. He's like kind of like almost trips. He's not tripping him, but he's walking so close behind him. He's kind of nudging him from behind.
No, he bumped into him twice.
Okay, and then Certain, but it's always he gets them to retaliate. And Certain turns on straight up shoves him. They didn't call anything,
which is perfect.
But Spratley's a little needler. I think it's funny. But yeah, don't elbow people in the face. Don't do key locks, guys. It's not cool.
Seriously, so bad.
Gomez keeps wins.
Will Luan is back in prime form, which means he does less than Bo Bartlett, does nothing, and then gets escapes in 1 second. Prime Luan form.
I kind of love it now. At this point, I'm all in on it.
Yeah.
Stop, JD, stop.
There's so much anticipation to see it, and it's the one thing you can in these uncertain times. Isn't it good to have something you can count on?
Yeah.
You can count on Will. You know what he's gonna bring, and you know what? I don't think Ben could hold him down. Boom, he's up and out right away.
Well, he does that sit out. He's more of a sit out, right? He does a sit out. You know what he does great is somehow. I wish I had more room here, but he does a sit out and he like
Goes to his
slips
back.
and like
Yeah.
he puts his arms up as he sits and turns.
He's got some.
Do you guys know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It's uncanny how well he's able to, and how quickly he's able to clear. I mean, Franek got out in 4 seconds, and I was like, all right, he's got this because just drop down. But he couldn't. Why can't guys drop down to his leg?
He sits out so fast.
Dang.
It was a sit out escape,
Yeah.
right? Am I wrong here?
Yeah,
Can
no.
someone play the video?
No, you're right. It
It
was,
was a sit out.
You don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, sit out is such a. It's funny because it's not like very, very highly used, like as a percentage of escapes. But there's certain guys who are good at sit outs. I remember Johnny Hendricks had a really good sit out. It's like almost no one stopped it. It was weird. I think it's like the shorter, stockier that can generate some power type guys.
Yeah.
They just have a great sit out and they get away almost every time.
Jason Surtis had a really good one too.
There's a good one.
Real fast. With
Yeah.
it. Okay. So good job by Will. Creates a little upheaval at the 157 rankings by winning by the smallest margin within the smallest margin. It's actually a criteria victory, I feel like. 'Cause it's just the
It really
right
is.
time.
Yes.
I was thinking the whole time because I picked one. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna lose another pick here because freaking Franek's gonna cover in overtime because it was 2.5.
Honestly, this is one of those scenarios with Franek. You could say, wow, you played Will Luwan's game. He had a lot of attacks. He just could not finish them. Yeah. He kept doing this like kind of misdirect single leg that looked really good. He could not finish on Will. Maybe they should have hit him for stalling.
I wouldn't have hated that. So he did. Will had a stall warning, and if so, I don't think anyone would have thrown a fit if he would have got called for stalling in an overtime.
Yeah. I think you throw up the double stall 20 seconds into a Will Luwan match just to see.
Just so you're on notice.
Just-
I know it.
Just poke the match with a stick and be like, all right, do something. And you know what? Something could happen. But as it turns out, nothing did. 65 Caliendo beats Bowman. No Camamine yet again. Don't know what's up there. He missed some time already
Getting
this
healthy.
year.
That's fine.
Yeah. Ben, it's okay.
Yeah.
Ben's fine with it. And plus they have Bowman.
And I like watching
Yeah.
Bowman.
Bo's a
I
beast.
hate it when just put me on record on this one. I hate it when college coaches try to force guys into duels to keep them wrestling or for the dual meet when it's significantly counterproductive to the athlete when they should be getting healthy. Like this is the time of the season where it's like you got to be healthy for conference.
Yeah.
Don't freaking try to force them in another 3 or 4 duels and they're kind of lingering in the injury. Just like boom, get them healthy, get them better back for conference.
Yep.
So Ben hates the fans. Got it.
Ben hates the
Doesn't want
fans.
anybody to wrestle.
Yep. No, that
Hates
tracks.
dual meets.
Well, I
That
want
tracks.
people to have big enough rosters where they can throw people in.
Oh, boy. Are
Which
you
I
really
know
gonna
that's going to be
bring
a
that
problem
up?
with the Mizzou duel. I don't know what happened in the Mizzou duel. I looked at their roster. They have 2 other 33s, one of whom has not wrestled at all this year, one of whom has. And then there was a backup 25. So
They have
I didn't
8
call last night.
25s and 33s on their roster.
Yeah, so I know Preston Spray, he has an injury, so I know he's out. Well, Seltzer's listed as 33, but he's not a 33 anymore. So there was 2 other 33s that I noticed and 1 other 25, and I don't know if it was like maybe he got sick really late and the other guys are too far overweight. I'm not certain what the issue was.
I don't know, but it's not good. Okay, we already talked about Kennedy Griffith. Griffith looked really good because Griffith was actually he pushed for the major late and got it. Like he was scoring late in the 30s, scoring off attacks. It wasn't just the top, and he just sat on the lead. It was a good response after a really tight win over Rocco Welsh. Blew Kennedy out, 84 whatever, 97 whatever. Glaziers dominates Strigo, and then Davison takes out Hill, and you're left with a lopsided win for Michigan, who just started out the duel kind of like how they started out the Ohio State duel, just on fire, winning every match, and they're looking really tough right now. And everyone knew this was going to be a close match, and it was surprising to see. And it's one of the more shocking Iowa losses I can recall in the last couple of years.
Well, didn't you guys say a stat like they hadn't lost in the last 5 years to a non Penn State team, or maybe non Penn State team in the Big Ten, or there's
No.
some stat to that effect?
They've lost to Ohio State within the last 3 or 4 years, and they lost to
Okay.
they lost
Not
to,
like this though.
yeah, I looked it up. They've had some big
To non-Penn State teams,
the Ohio
Okay.
State. I'll pull it up, but it was not.
Hey,
like the
It's happened.
2015 Ohio State team. Even since then,
something like that.
More
Hey,
recent.
Christian, I want to go back. You just said Michigan is starting to look really good. That was, I think, their first duel where they were looking really good, right? Remember, they lost to South Dakota State in January, and then they got drilled by Penn State, and then they were against Ohio State last week. They were the gigantic, overwhelming favorites, and they lost to Ohio State. So I actually think this is the first duel where they were kind of like, I don't want to say maybe living up to expectations would be a good way to put it.
Well, what I would say is they're getting really good production from Ragusin and Gomez.
Yep.
And I think whereas earlier in the year we didn't have Gomez and
Sure.
Ragusin was in redshirt, and you're wondering where's Chris Cannon going to be. And now you see Shane Griffith. I agree this is probably like the first, but I think it's been trending a little bit. And now Griffith's back
Yeah.
looking really good. You assume Cam Amin's going to be there. D'Agostino beats Drake. I feel like this was kind of the moment, but there's some other things that have been trending very positively for them. But
And so that's also, I think, negative for Iowa because you start looking like, we were saying Ayala is a big step up, maybe contend for a national title, which I guess I'm not totally writing off given 25.
no.
But then you also say, well, D'Agostino's a 12 rank or something like that. And then 33, they're not going to get anything. 41, you were saying overwhelmingly the likelihood to win is Real Woods, and now you're questioning that. 49,
100%.
nothing. 57, you're saying a little bit of a question mark of how high he's going to finish because now he's lost twice. 65, he's looking good, but 65's deep, and we'll see him and Mitchell, so that should be a fun one this Friday. And then 74 up, you're like,
Rough.
we ain't getting no points there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be tough for Iowa. I think it's kind of like they were able to get through a lot of the missing guys in the lineup from the gambling thing for a while, but now I feel like it's all kind of coming to a head. They were able to figure it out with Iowa State. They were able to look really, really good against Nebraska, and they won some big matchups, and then I think they matched up sort of well there. But Michigan, sort of revealed, hey, you're going to miss Nelson Brands. You're going to miss Tony Cassiope. It just hurts not having those guys. And at a certain point, that all comes to roost. So tough for them.
Yes.
But I will say this, too. I feel like every team at least has this one weekend, whatever, where it's like, oh, they looked off. And you kind of almost... This is where JD can be. He's the true expert on what does and does not count. But this feels like
doesn't count.
This feels like everyone has a bad weekend, whatever. Even the good teams, and so maybe this was that. I thought it was Penn State was a little down this weekend. I thought Missouri way down. Iowa,
but that's 2 down weekends in a row for Missouri. So hopefully that's like all the down they get. They get another down. We're gonna start questioning it.
Started to be just, are you down? Okay, so. Yes. We'll see. And, Iowa, on the one hand, we'll get into it Thursday. We'll get into Wednesday this week.
Wednesday, yes.
We'll get into it. Okay. Let's talk about your boys.
What are we talking about now?
Let's go. Do we need
No, I don't want to talk. Let's go to questions.
No, you have to answer for it.
Yeah, you have to answer for it.
Can I cut out of the show?
No.
All right, I'll answer for it. 25, I thought they missed back points. I think Certain won that match. The other thing I was so frustrated with Certain was he had, I think it was 46 a ride time, and I felt like he was trying to force a turn. It's like, you only got 14 more. Just freaking ride this sucker and there was then 0 stall warnings also, right? So just ride this dude out for 14 more and get that ride time point, and you win 2-1.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was trying there with that leg ride. It felt like he was really trying to force it over.
I thought he was in. I thought he was in a great position to ride for a while, and it looked like he just fell off. I didn't understand it.
Well, I thought he was trying to force it that way. Which
Okay.
that's again, why is he trying to force it that way at that point in time in the match? There's 14 seconds till ride time, and I was making 30-ish left in the match or something.
Yeah.
45, something like that.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
I thought he was close to near fall. Spratley's a scrapper, man. He's another one of these 25s. It's going to be he's going to be tough to beat in March for sure. 33, I don't understand not having I mean, you're at home.
I also don't
get
know.
that.
Didn't call.
What? Why?
Got no answers.
Just a question. Why are these people on the team? What are they for? What do you do this for? Why do you do all these practices if you're not going to be like mildly?
I'm sure there's an excuse. I just don't know what it is,
guys,
Christian.
For 8 guys?
The story,
not 8. You're exaggerating. It's,
all right, I'm just looking
3.
at the
There's
roster that your school
3
put out.
logical possibilities, I thought. When I looked this morning, I thought there's 3 logical possibilities, and I don't know what the excuses for those 3 were.
Brian Smith seems like the most cautious, overly prepared person that you could fathom for this. I don't understand why. I'm sure there's a reason, but why are all these people on the team if they're not going to step in and wrestle? Because what happens if you wrestle, if you just put someone out there, then you don't let Dayton effectively win 2 weights.
But that would be that was weird also because Tegan Jamison is the probably significant favorite against Josh Edmond, so it's kind of weird that they didn't put him out there.
Maybe
you don't think so?
I don't know.
Edmund is funny because like he wrestles Dayton Fix really tough, and he's like really hard to score on, but he's not really scoring a ton of points himself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I mean, I think Dayton definitely. You feel more confident in Dayton. Picking up that win though is what CP is saying.
Tight duel, you want it. Listen, anything can happen with. I mean, Jamison's still a freshman. Edmund is still tough, and you just know Dayton's going to find a way to win that match, right? You don't let him do that. Also, Dayton is one of the most anytime, anywhere wrestlers I can remember. Like over the course of his career, and him bumping up there. There are very few guys that would bump up in that situation. I'll just leave it at that.
Ben, let's get John talking to Dayton impersonation, telling him to bump up.
Yeah.
What was John saying to Dayton?
He just told him, "Hey, son, you're good. You're gonna go wrestle 141 and get us a win. How about that?
We're gonna
say yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Edmund's got 3 overtime losses: a 9-8 loss to Tom Crook, 2-1 to Dayton, and then 9-6 to Cornella. Which obviously he was in that. So he's in all the matches. He just is not getting any really good wins. I mean, hopefully he figures it out at the end of the season, which would be great, but he hasn't figured it out to this point.
Yeah. Juan Mogan took exception to my comment that Penn State was down. I understand they wrestled well, but I think Davis, Nagao, Carter, getting hit for stalling in the third. I think that was another guy, and then Bernie Truex got pinned by Ryder Rogotsky. So I think if 4 of your guys are not probably wrestling to expectation, I think
that's the crazy thing. That's notable. I agree. I think that was their down week, and that's what they did.
I know it probably will be. Anyway,
for Missouri, however you say it, for that forfeit there, I think I know what happened.
Hit me.
As the resident hangover expert.
Oh my gosh.
It could have been 8. I think it was a 125, 133 party.
Yeah.
All 8 of them.
Ben, the weight classes all party together. You know how it is.
That's how they do it.
It's clicky like this.
By size.
Yep. Now who knows what happened, but that was weird.
And then we didn't have Joffrey, which that hurt also.
That hurts bad.
That hurt bad. Yeah.
Mahler loses to Travis. Travis is really having a nice season. He's tough.
He's having a good year.
You hate your chiropractor's son.
I love Brooks. He makes me laugh so much.
Then 65, Keegan gets the takedown riding time. What were your thoughts on Keegan's performance against Olenek?
I sure thought he could have had a takedown at the end there also, like right off the duck, and the hands were down, and then there was another point where he kind of put him on the other side, and I don't know if that could have been maybe a little more aggressive, but I did think he had a takedown at the end there.
Braden Thompson's putting together a pretty tough season. Beats Peyton Mako. Wins a late exchange and gets the biggest win of his NCAA career. And then that's when it was.
That was another one where Peyton should have been a little more on point in that he had a first period shot and like almost had a takedown where he kind of stepped over, and then Thompson ended up rolling through. If he would have been a little more on point on that one, then he could have potentially won that.
Oklahoma State just
Maybe should have.
putting together a really tough season so far. They've beaten some really good teams this year, and they've beaten them soundly. And Missouri is a good team, and they won big.
Yeah.
Okay. Yianni Nick Lee wrestle off. We got to get to that. This was a bummer for wrestling fans because we got one match, and we're hoping for another cool series. Yianni was up. His first takedown, first score was for Nick, I think, off a counter, and then Yianni gets the takedown, and then a step out, but on the takedown he slammed his head and I guess concussed himself or whatever, and so he finished the match, but it was ugly, and then lost 12-3 to Nick Lee, and then forfeited the second match. He put a tweet out that said he was in the hospital, so hope he heals up. Congrats to Nick, who goes to 4-0 against Yianni, which is wild.
Dang, this crazy, huh?
It is crazy. Overall, there were only 6 matches at these wrestle-offs. There were supposed to be like so many more, and then like Emma Bruntel weighed in, and this forfeited.
What happened there?
And just forfeited to Amit. I have no idea. Jakara Winchester didn't come, so I don't know.
Huh?
So that was weird. Any other thoughts on the Dayton Gilman thing?
Dayton Gilman?
The Gilman tweet?
I thought it was.
Thoughts.
I mean, Thomas.
Oh wait, we should put we haven't even talked. I'm having my pre-show.
Yeah, you didn't even bring up the
conversation.
tweet.
So yeah, Tom. Well, I don't have the tweet. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Get the tweet.
It was
Problems with our dead culture, making excuses for the loser, starting something and not finishing. It's more admirable to step into the arena and lose than not step back in at all.
I didn't get this, honestly, at all.
because Yianni did not come back. I assumed for match 2. Thomas writes hard for Penn State now, very hard. So he was obviously writing for his guy Nick Lee, but I thought it was an unnecessary shot at Yianni. It was more taking shots at Yianni than writing for Nick, and he had the opportunity to wrestle off in this scenario as well.
That's what I didn't get.
And didn't.
I mean, he says starting something and not finishing it is more admirable, but you didn't come. You're letting the fate of your Olympic, dream. You're giving it to Zane Richards, but then you're gonna take a shot at Yianni. Like, listen, you shouldn't say out of that exchange, well, Yianni would have won. Like that is obviously, but I didn't see that. I saw people appropriately observing, oh, Yianni definitely hit his head here. And the fact that he forfeited the next match, do we know, has Yianni throughout his career not bought a modicum of credibility as a pretty tough guy who makes the walk and really, really wants to wrestle? Like, he's not quitting because he lost. There's obviously
one NCAA's on a torn ACL.
It's exactly. That's my point. It's never happened. The guy's tough. He won NCAAs as a true freshman with a torn ACL from the quarters on. Okay? He's a pretty tough guy. No one's saying Nick Lee doesn't deserve to win. No one's saying that Nick Lee's not better. I think people were just like, oh, he hit his head. He had a concussion. Listen, I like Thomas a lot. I find him to be I thought how thoughtful Thomas normally is actually underappreciated. But I thought in this moment,
Nah, he can definitely.
I know he's had some clunkers.
I mean, to me, it's hilarious how fast he flipped from like an Iowa homer to a Penn State homer. Like, he goes hard for whoever he's with at that point in time, because he flipped so hard for Penn State against Iowa when he went there, and prior he was Iowa's biggest cheerleader.
Yeah. I thought, I don't know. I didn't think, Yianni was his team. They've been on teams together. I don't know. I didn't like that. I thought, man.
I agree. I mean, the biggest thing that you brought up, Christian, was the fact that he chose not to compete for the spot and is letting Zane have it, essentially. Yeah. That's like the biggest point, I think, of all the points.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought that was weird.
And also his Twitter bio has a typo in it.
Oh.
And that's rough when you're like doing kind of like you're throwing out some trolly tweets.
What is the typo, Ollie?
It says follow of Christ instead of follower.
Oh.
That
Maybe you just don't know what a follow is.
Yeah, you don't. That's
that, you know what?
That's just your issue.
There's
Ollie.
a strong point. There's a strong point.
Yeah. I didn't like that. I don't hate the drama and a little trash talk. I just thought this felt like a miss to me.
He's a big go out on your shield guy.
Yeah, he goes for it. He
I
definitely.
He
respect
didn't
going
bring
out
a
on the
shield.
shield.
Daryl Smith just gave us $20. I don't know who that is.
Shout out Daryl.
We don't get that money though. Just go straight to
Who
the.
splits it? Me, you, me. We split it 4 ways here or what?
We split it. We split it 3 ways. You mean
Venmo me that $5 though.
20 divided by 3 is 5.
I get cut out again.
You get cut out again. You don't have seniority here yet.
I didn't put it in my contract.
Yeah,
it's on me.
You got to put it in there.
I need a better agent.
Okay. Do we want to go to questions? I feel like we can get to a lot.
Yeah.
But we don't have a choice.
9 minutes left.
Who would you rather watch, Austin Gomez or Dylan Ness?
I feel like the buzz around Dylan,
That was so fun.
he was so crazy. I don't know. I think Dylan had more of a. I think Austin is just more regular, really good at kind of everything, and he kind of has throws, whereas
Yes.
Dylan was way more unpredictable.
And Dylan would also, his were maybe more exciting because from bottom he would just roll to his back. He was
Yeah.
he
Turn in,
he was like Soldano.
grab the head, and kick him.
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
I'd like to add Ryan Lang into the running on this as well.
That's a throwback. He was crazy.
Throwback.
The Darian Caldwell Ryan Lang match is goated.
But Ryan Lang would just go off the deep end. Like, if it wasn't going his way, he would just, it was almost like Saldana-ish, where he would just keep going for it, and it would just keep not going his way.
Sometimes it would though, and then it would work.
It's called
that one time.
It's called regressive gambling, I believe is the term.
I know a bit about
That's,
that.
yeah, that's kind of what
but,
it is.
But
a
here's the
little bit.
thing about regressive gambling: it works.
It's fun.
It works, Ben.
It works every time, 20% of the time.
Yeah. So all right, you bet $10, you lose $10. You bet $20 to get that back, and you just keep betting
You
until
have to spend money to make money.
Yeah, this is economics 101.
All right, Christian, I got a question. And I just want to make fun of this guy because he has the stupid Twitter handle. His Twitter handle is Ben's Weak Bladder. But he, needless to say, this guy is not smart because he said, "Is the team race closer than it has been portrayed to be?" And I think the obvious answer to that is no. Hey, Ben's Weak Bladder, you're asking dumb questions.
It's the team race is not close, other than like the second, third down. That's going to be really close.
Yes.
But no,
But I'm assuming he's talking about the team race, and it's not close.
yeah.
Well, tell your bladder to stop making dumb questions.
All right. Oh, JD, right now, I want you to set the line. Penn State minus how many points at the NCAA championships?
One.
Ooh.
It's got to be close to 70. It's around there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm taking that line. I'm taking that line for sure.
Do you think
I'm
they'll-
not saying, but I'm saying it's close. I think it's because I think they're legitimately pushing to be like one of the top 3 teams, highest scoring teams.
If that's just, I mean,
Ever.
man,
Ever.
is anyone else going to get 100 points? I don't think so. So if they get one, I mean, Ben, 60.
170. He said 70. So if you said
Close to
50,
70.
I would say, take the over. Probably, or 40, maybe take the over. But 70 is like, I like my chances. One person gets
too.
hurt there, and that they ain't covering.
Yeah, I agree.
One Soldano
Right, there's
or
still a
one
chance, like-
Rogatsky pin over Truex could foil that.
Yeah, or Braden Davis doesn't do that well. He
Yeah.
finishes like 6th or 7th, or maybe Kasich is, a 6th or 7th, something like that. Nagao maybe is, has a few down matches. I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, I think it's like 40 some.
Hammer over on 40
some probably.
48.5.
48.5. I'd probably take that. I mean, I don't know. Let's see how they do against Iowa because, Mitchell, if Mitchell smashes Kelly, I know he's looking more like he's towards the top. If say, Franek beats Levi,
Haynes.
maybe you're getting a little nervous about those points. You have Drake whoops, Braden Davis, maybe you're nervous about those points.
If the team race isn't going to be close, I'm almost now to the point where I'm pushing for let's watch the highest scoring team
Yeah.
of all time. Like, let's watch history. That's cool to me where I'm at that point now where I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let's do it, Penn State.
It's been at that point since they got Mitchell and Aaron and Bernie. Like, I've been thinking about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up.
No other good questions.
Come on.
They all
there's-
fired.
There's other good ones. Daggone it, Ben.
I
I'm a little
how do you feel
curious about this one.
How do you feel about Iowa going to Stillwater at the end of this month? I'm taking the Pokes, but I'm biased. Pokes look really great. Young and seem to be learning as they go. And then the next question will be a Poke question. Are you thinking this is the number 2 team in the country? It's impressive to see the young talent and Fix and Plot as finalists. I think at the Nationals, they still have like Plot and Fix are probably the 2, but who else is going to place really high? And that's that's probably where they may not get as many points at Nationals.
Here's the thing. Okay, well, a lot of teams don't have the 2 guys like a Dayton and a Dustin. A lot of them are the ones that are contending, lack 2 big guns like that. And then the other guys I feel like are just as likely as, you think about Troy, Taggin, Teague Travis, Olenek. I think all those feel good about them. Braden Thompson's emerging. 97 looks like, I don't know what's up there. But Doucette looks like he could be around a 12 or low AA type of guy. They've got a lot of bullets. 97's the only real hole. And that's because Cerber's not back. 49 is not great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. I think they could be the second.
Yeah, I mean,
team.
like, contrast this with their performance, and maybe this is this was their bad one when you said Mizzou had a bad one, or Cornell's had some bad ones. Like the other Iowa had a bad one. Is like, and maybe they weren't trying, JD. I understand that's a possibility, but like their Vegas performance was like, man, we saw that and we're like, oh,
rough.
That's tough, rough.
Vegas hangover.
Yeah, Vegas hangover. By the time JD and Ollie are done with this show, none of the matches will have actually happened and count.
Yeah,
Well, they don't count. None of them.
Hangovers are a thing.
Some do. The ones I want to count.
That's fair.
There is one question I kind of want
Hit
to.
it.
I want to get asked. It's in the doc, so if it's in the doc, I'm allowed to read it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, just make
Yeah,
sure.
you're allowed to read it.
It says that this is reacting to a Ben Askren tweet.
Okay.
Ben Askren's tweet
what
says,
I say?
"Damn, Iowa has 0 takedowns in 40+ minutes of wrestling so far in this duel." The question is, that was crazy! ! I can't remember another time a highly ranked team got 0 takedowns in the first half of a duel. Can you guys?
Oh boy.
Yeah, actually, Adam Fellers brought it up to me. Mizzou did not have any takedowns in the first half of their duel yesterday.
Oh,
But they
that's
forfeited
why.
one weight class, so it was not 40 minutes of wrestling.
It was interesting how you skipped over that question in the doc, but now it's making sense to why you skipped it.
Coming full circle.
So funny. But they did get a takedown at 65, as did Iowa. So it would be the 5th match, not the 6th match, because there was a forfeit there.
Yeah.
Ben, what was the longest amount of time you went without a takedown in a match?
Ooh.
Did you ever go a whole match without a takedown?
Ryan Lang. I take down Ryan Lang because I lost 3-2. Was there a match where I did? I'm sure there was a match where I did not get a takedown against Pendleton. But my last 2 years, I got takedowns against every single person. So probably a Pendleton match or Ryan Lang were the matches where I maybe didn't get a takedown.
I don't think your takedown against Gavin was legit. It wasn't.
up.
It wasn't beyond reaction time.
I held him on his back for like 30 seconds, knucklehead.
He was reacting the entire time.
I had
was
to tell the
wiggling.
referee, like, hey, referee. I literally said to the referee, like, hey, he can't move right now. You need to start counting. And then the referee started counting, but I don't know what he was looking at.
Yeah,
He got you good at the start, though. He got you good.
He did.
He got you
Keith was
good.
tough. I love Keith. He's great.
He is great. I saw him the maddest ever. He is the most subdued, even in like the biggest moments. What was the takedown?
Yeah.
There was some call that was missed so bad. And the camera cuts to him, and he's just looking at the ref. He goes, "What are you doing?" It's so funny because if you know Keith, he's just the most.
That was Keith's version of blowing his top.
Yeah, Keith Gavin just lost it, folks. There was some other stuff that happened, but we ran out of time, so that's it.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to find. Flow Arena needs to have a better search feature, but Oklahoma State took 9th at CKLV. That was kind of like Doucette didn't place,
Top 10
Serber didn't
finish.
place, Thompson didn't place, Spratley didn't place. That's like their down performance. But they're looking really good lately.
They certainly are. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back Wednesday this week. That's right, Wednesday. To accommodate for Ben's very busy schedule. Thank you guys. Thank you to Ollie, JD, and Ben, and especially you for listening. See you on Wednesday. Goodbye.
Go Lopers.